Well, it's that time of year again. After 26 races of the NASCAR Cup Series schedule, our 16 drivers have been determined to battle out in a 10-week period to crown the NASCAR Cup Series champion at Phoenix. But before the green flag drops for the Southern 500, let's take a look at these drivers and go round by round and predict our champion. The round of 16 is pretty easy to determine. It weeds out the non-contenders early and shows the drivers who might have a chance. 3 races consist of Darlington for the Southern 500, the second Kansas race, and the famous Bristol night race. We can put these drivers past as they have either gained enough points to pass by, have carried a lot of momentum to this point, or have shown promise in previous races at these tracks. Now we get to the last 4 spots into the round of 12. We can put Christopher Bell in the round of 12, even though his results this year at these tracks haven't shown. Last year, you had him in the top 5 in all 3 races in the round of 16. Joey Logano will most likely move forward, as a defending champion, ran well at Kansas earlier in the year, and ran well at Darlington in both races last year, winning the first race there last year. Let's go ahead and throw a wild card in and put Bubba Wallace in the round of 12. Bubba avoided the chaos in the first Darlington race and finished 5th, and finished 9th in the Southern 500 last year. He's also been really good at Kansas since moving to the next-gen cars. His finishes at Kansas are 10th, 1st, and 4th. So I would not be surprised if Bubba were to gain a lot of points, or matter of fact maybe even win to get himself into the round of 12. And the last driver making it to the round of 12 is Ryan Blaney. While Ryan hasn't been lighting the track on fire since his Coke 600 win, his team hasn't been making the same mistakes as Tyler Reddick's crew has made on pit road, giving the advantage to Blaney over Reddick. So in my opinion, Tyler Reddick will be out. Kevin Harvick, even though he's carried Stuart Haas, cannot be able to carry him past round 16. And Ricky Stenhouse and Michael McDowell, even though they're feel-good stories, will not make it out of the round of 16. Alright, now let's move on to the wild card round, aka the round of 12, with Texas, Talladega, and the Charlotte Roval. The top 4 in my mind that will move to the round of 8 is Truex, Byron, Busch, and Hamlin, as they've been good all season, and Busch and Byron won at super speedways, with Busch winning at the first Talladega race, and Byron winning the second Atlanta race in the summer. The next 2 I believe can get in are the RFK cars. Chris Buescher's record on road courses have been solid, and him and Brad have been great on the super speedways this year, nearly winning the Daytona 500, top 5s at the first Talladega race, and finishing 1-2 at the Coke Zero 400 just last week. Driver number 7 again will be Christopher Bell. His super speedway results have been solid, and he's won the Charlotte Roval last year with strategy and a lucky caution. And the last driver in the round of 8 to me is going to be Kyle Larson. Much like the rest of the round of 12 drivers, Kyle has been hit or miss at these tracks, but Kyle has won at Texas and on the Roval in 2021, and ran well in 2022, until he made a costly mistake by hitting the wall. If Kyle can minimize the mistakes, he can make his way into the round of 8. The round of 8 is more stubble races with Las Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. Martin Truex will be my first driver to put in the Final 4, as he has ran well at all of these tracks, getting top 10s at Las Vegas, rebounding from a pit road spin last year at Homestead to finish in 6th place, and finishing 3rd at Martinsville earlier in the year. Kyle Larson will be number 2 in the Final 4, as Homestead is right in the middle, and he dominated there last year. And I'm thinking of a possible repeat for Young Money this year, here to make it back to the Championship 4. Driver number 3 will be Denny Hamlin, as he had top 5 finishes in all 3 races in the round of 8 last year, and is determined to win the championship that has eluded him his entire career, with the possibility of doing it at Martinsville. Or if it weren't for Ross Chastain wall ride, he would have made it to the Final 4. He's been really good at Martinsville after his entire career. And final driver in my championship 4 will be William Byron. He won at Las Vegas earlier in the year, and has won at Martinsville last year in the spring race. Also, he ran well in the round of 8 last year with a worst finish of 13th. William has had a career year so far, so if he wants to cap it off, he's going to have to, in my mind, beat Kyle Busch in order to make it to the Final 4 in order to race at Phoenix to take the championship. Now I'm going to take a look at the final race of the year, the Final 4 race at Phoenix. While all 4 drivers have had success here, we got to look at the numbers of the previous Phoenix races in the next-gen car. In between these 4 drivers, William Byron has been the better driver out of all 4 drivers here, winning the first race this year, leading over 200 laps, and finishing the highest out of all the other drivers in last year's race in 6th. So if anyone right now has the best shot at winning the championship, it's William Byron. And for that, I'm going with Big Hat Byron on taking the number 24 back to a championship for the first time in 22 years.